Alrighty, everybody. My name is Terminus, and today we're gonna check out ReZero, the last 2 episodes. I don't know for sure if we're gonna check out episode 7 and 8 in conjunction, or if it's gonna be 2 separate videos which are gonna come out shortly after one another. Either way, we have Wednesday right now, and episode 7 and 8 are available to us. 7 from last week and 8 from this week. We're gonna check it out. It saddens me to no end that we will not have any ReZero content. I would like to say like I'm doing some ReZero content on the side. I'm like a light novel discussion or something in a week or two, but I don't know if I actually have the time. If I do have the time, maybe I'll throw something in there if that is the case, but don't expect it, right? But maybe we'll have time within those 8 weeks and are able to do something along those lines. Maybe in the second location, because I'm gonna be going to family in like during most of December for like the holidays and whatnot. So do keep an eye out for that. We might be doing that. But either way, it's been one hell of a series so far, right? One hell of a season so far. And I've been enjoying it thoroughly. There's been very few moments where I was like, okay, this is, well, not adapted well, or they cut too much, right? They've certainly cut a couple of things from the light novel here and there, but you gotta do that. You gotta do that when you're adapting something. Like, there's no way that you will be able to actually transfer everything over from the get-go, right? So let's jump into it. Let's jump into episode 7. Last time we left off, Subaru was actually kind of had a plan or something where he was like, I'm gonna do this, right? We're gonna get Emilia back. We're gonna make sure that the city at large is kind of safer. I want to save everybody, not just like the main characters. I want to save the civilians. I want to save everybody that we can, because people keep dying. And obviously, we had a little bit of blowback, right, from Anastasia and Julius and whatnot, and they were like, isn't that a little bit too idealistic? But he's like a knight, right? The ideals of a knight, which is very interesting, right? Ideals are oftentimes not obtainable, right? At least not one-to-one the way you imagine and envision them to be. But oftentimes ideals are obviously a nice guidepost, right? A nice, like a nice thing to aim for, to be like, this is where I want to be, and if I get up to there, then I've at least given my best shot to actually get there, to actually fulfill the ideals that I have. Because Subaru knows as well that he might return at some point and have a new checkpoint and then be like, shit, a couple of people died, right? People couldn't be saved and whatnot. But he isn't willing to accept this at this very moment, and I do really love that about him. But yeah, let's get into episode 7, see what Subaru and the rest of them have cooked up, see what's happening with like Emilia, because he accidentally just contacted Al, so how does he have a media? What's happening there? And let's just look it up, right? Okay, boys and girls, without any further ado, let's get into this episode. I got episode 7 up and ready to go in a 3, a 2, a 1, bam! Ooh. Holy shit, Al, what have you been doing? He's gone to work. Oh, and this is how he got the media. You didn't. Ooh, nice framing. Oh, すごく。スバルに伝えてほしいことがあるの。おお、ジョーちゃんが無事って兄弟に伝えて。3番街の制御塔にはレグルスって滞在司教がいるわ。それから1番街の制御塔には色欲の滞在司教がいるみたい。Critical information。他の塔も調べられたらよかったんだけど、シリウスがどこにいるかはわからないの。でも。Ooh, the Emilia theme in the back, nice. He's like, you.
私強がってるわけじゃないの。それこんなこと言ったら変かもしれないけど、スバルが私を助けてくれることは疑ってないの。だから助けに来てくれたスバルが危なくないように私がしておけること全部しておきたいのよ。
Oh, this is so much.
プリシュラには後で勝手なお願いしたこと私から謝るから。
分かった。さっきの話兄弟たちにちゃんと伝えてやる。あとは白馬の王子様が何とかするだろう。
王子様じゃなくてスバルが何とかしてくれると思うんだけど。
俺が悪かったよ。本当におとなしくしてろよ。ジョークじゃねえぞ。
Make sure you're still alive when he gets there. This is a very interesting interaction between the two of them. Oh, okay. What a weird thing to say. She trusts Al. I mean, I would trust him too. Have you seen him? But, yeah, as I was saying, like, it's very curious that we have that specific line in here, because obviously, of course, you can't trust people that you haven't met all that well yet, because maybe they have a certain aura about them, right? Maybe they have a certain, like, charisma about them, or you kind of, like, very easily can gauge their character. But Al is somebody who's, like, been associated with Priscilla, who is not necessarily positive, or has not necessarily been positive towards us all of this time. Obviously, we have seen a new side of Priscilla. Even Emilia has seen that in that short interaction that they had with one another in, like, the plaza with Liliana and whatnot. But the question is, in how far can you trust her? So an Al, who we don't know, who we haven't met so much, at least we haven't been exposed to him as much. He hasn't been talking much with us as people. Although I would say, like, maybe one of these, like, feelings of confidence in Al's, like, loyalty and Al's like, Al being responsible and all of that, right? Al being reliable might come from the fact that Subaru is very sympathetic towards Al, right? Like, the way, the few times we've seen Subaru in front of Emilia interact with Al and Subaru always have had a good rapport. So maybe that's that. But also, maybe also just that little conversation where Al was like, hey, look, aren't you forgetting something? Take care of yourself as well. That's important, right? That alone just shows, like, that he has the concern and also has the overview, the capability to be, like, looking at the bigger picture and be like, look, all of this information, great stuff, but make sure you're also taking care of yourself, right? You're in a precarious situation yourself. There might be more to it as well that we don't know yet, because Emilia seemed to have been surprised to be so confident in the fact that Al would bring it to Subaru and everybody else, and just, right, that it would be delivered fine, but I don't know what she specifically meant by that. And here, we're back. Yes. Ooh, and here we go. Alright, Kyodai. He's like, I'm an errand boy now. Ooh, and Garfield's coming in. Everybody's here. Oh, what happened to my dude? Oh yeah, he didn't know he was alive, right? Everybody possibly died in front of him. Yeah, I'll fill you in later. Especially if it comes from Al. What is that reaction? Mm-hmm. She was indeed, but that's just like her. Hugging the ice statue is amazing. I posted the last episode, but yeah, the voice actress of her is Kaguya from like Kaguya-sama. Always thinking of other people. She knew her boy at last moment. Oh, the shining glass! Holy fuck. Ooh. Keikako. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's fleeing or dying or panicking. And everybody's arguing. Holy shit, the two kids. Deepens loneliness. Wears down the mind. Well, didn't you explain it? Just watch and enjoy the show, Garfield. The beacon of hope. Right, chill down, chill out. Yeah, you need a speech, you need a plan. Yeah, who opened it and why? Yeah. Ooh, interesting. But... Ooh, that is an interesting point. Al is making a really great point. We can't like five-head this. Well, she's not somebody who gives speeches, is she?
知名度の話だけでいいんなら、それでうまくいくんなら、うちも喜んで何でも話したる。
But
うちの名前に魔女教の不安を追っ払う力はない。
you're just a merchant, influential.
ぐらいがせいぜいやね。力不足を認めるみたいで尺なんやけど。
それでも
夏樹くんも分かってるやろ。必要なんは不安に支配された人たちの心が一気に湧き立つ、そんな希望。
Who has a reputation for being the hope? Reinhardt, maybe.
けど夏樹くんがやりたいんはそれと違うやろ。身を切るって判断を嫌やって否定した夏樹くんの考えとは。
それはあんならクルシさんならどうだ。
She's not capable right now.
クルシさんの言葉には力があった。
せやね。
She's, yeah.
今のクルシさんを引っ張り出してミーティアの前に立たせるなんて不可能や。
She's a mess. She's in agony. Julius says he's the leader of the knights, of course, but he's not that known.
ユリウスはうちの自慢の騎士。でもユリウスの武君がどこまで魔女教相手に通じるん？知名度と口のうまさを含めたらうちの方が賞賛あるくらい。
それなら残る可能性はビルヘルムさんとリカードか。
Ricardo isn't in here. Priscilla and Liliana could really do it, I think.
大将がやるんじゃいけねえのか。は？大将しかいねえ。大将なんだよ。だってそうだろ。魔女教の滞在式を倒したなんて肩書き、他の誰も持っちゃいねえんだ。
And the reputation is there. We set that up with Liliana.
一番でけえ意味がある。ゴーフィル。魔女教に占拠された町にこれ以上ふさわしい誰かがいるもん。
Who else is more fit?
そいつは剣聖ラインハルトか夏木スバル以外に誰もいねえ。
Exactly, Reinhardt and Subaru.
あんただけなんだよ。
Reinhardt isn't here yet.
うちも同意見や。誰かにやらせるんなら夏樹くんしかおらんって。
And he's a talker.
お前まで本気か。
覚えているかな、スバル。君が王戦の場で大勢の騎士たちの前で単価を切ったこと。
Holy shit, that's been forever.
君を連兵場で打ち倒したこと。
生涯三本指に入る大反省と屈辱の瞬間。
Top 3, well, I mean.
忘れられるもんかよ。
私もよく覚えているとも。君の根拠のない宣言も、騎士を呪った集体も、その後に白芸との戦いに加わり、ついには怠惰の討伐をも成し遂げたことも。
You showed results.
この都市にいる誰かの声が不安に震える人々の一助となるなら。
Ooh, I love that OST.
こそがふさわしいと私は考える。君の求め
Like a glimmer of hope.
ガーフィールをはじめとして大勢いるだろうが。
There are many who have answered your call.
私もいる。
I am among them as well. The trust is there.
とんだ過大評価だろ。
迷うならやめちまえよ兄弟。ここにいるやつがそんな大層な男かよ。
うるせえよ。てめえが大将を語んな。
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
でどうにかなるんなら大したもんだ。けど大多数の凡人はそんな役目なんて背負えねえんだよ。俺はもちろん兄弟だってそうさ。なのになんでそんなに背負わされなきゃならねえ。
Why should you have to carry so much weight? Ooh.
兄弟にとって一番大事なのはあの嬢ちゃんじゃねえのかよ。俺は姫さんのために行動する。だから他の奴らのことは全部後回しにするつもりだ。
It's amazing how he's throwing his convictions into question.
エミリアだけ助けて尽くせばいい。魔女教の奴らなんざ
This parallels so well with Roswell.
関わるだけ損をするのさ。
Focus on one person only, right? The Roswell strat that he rejected in season 2.
赤信号の交差点に子供が飛び出したら理由を考える前に手を引いて歩道に連れ戻すような。多分そんな感じなんだよ。
もしやるなら兄弟。兄弟がこれから背負うのは英雄幻想だ。
英雄幻想。
勝たなきゃならねえ。希望を担い、期待を背負い、未来を示して戦うんだ。
Carry people so shoulder their expectations.
負けちゃいけねえのはいつだってそうだろ。
重みが違え。兄弟の負けは兄弟の負けだけ。
It will be the loss of everybody. The interesting thing about that is your victories won't be yours alone, right?
私の名前はエミリア。
Yeah, the decisions he made that always extended beyond Emilia, right? I mean, she's the most important thing, but how many times did he...
私を助けてくれて。
And these are her ideals too, right? Emilia's. Saving other people.
なんだ。じゃあいつもと変わらねえな。そんなのすんなよ、ガーフィール。あ、大将。あ、大将。大将だ。やっぱり大将は大将だ。わけわかんないな。アナスタシアさん、やるよ。
You'll bring him to his knees, he stands right back up. Not because of arrogance.
俺のやることは変わらない。英雄、いいじゃねえか。あ、いや、正直照れくさいにも程があるけど、ヒーローやることだけならもう1年前から決めてたんだ。
Yeah,
そうしないと
the decision is already made.
見てる子の背中に追いつけねえから。
さよか。したらええよ。男の子はかっこつきやもんね。
Throwing his words back at him.
どちっても笑うなよ。ため息もつくな。できれば聞くな。
笑いなどしない。ため息もつかない。最後まで姿勢を正して傾聴しよう。
心配してくれてありがとうよ。あれ、おかげで覚悟が決まった。
Exactly his intention. Very interesting.
いっそあなたが戻らないまま。
Alright, and we're back. Before we start this, I just had a thought, and that is like maybe it's like super weird or whatever, but like Al has always been calling Subaru brother. He has never called anybody else brother or sister or something similar. He said Kyodai. I don't know what Kyodai exactly means, right? Like I know Aniki for brother, I know Onisan or whatever, right? That's more like the direct brother or like the doting on someone brother, stuff like that, right? Or right, a direct connection, right? Adoptive brother in the family or actual brother. Kyodai feels more like a brother in battle, but I don't know what it means on a Japanese level, right? So the question is, does Al have some kind of connection to Subaru, right? That we don't know about? Is there something Al knows that Subaru and us as the audience don't know that connects Al to Subaru beyond just being another knight of the royal candidates? Because it seems like Al has been treating Subaru with an extreme closeness from the beginning on, and then there was this weird, not weird, but in a way like very overly familiar and interesting dynamic between Emilia and Al in that discussion earlier on, right? Like, and Emilia even saying her self-assuredness and believing Al will deliver the message and whatnot, and everything's gonna be fine. So, I do wonder if there is something, right? And even there, right? And it's in this situation, it was Al who took the step and was like confronting, challenging Subaru's beliefs and his convictions in order to get him to make the decision he needed to make, right? Like questioning him, being like, right, you should maybe just focus. I love how it reflected on the Roswell conversation in season 2 as well, right? Like we went back and we were like, Roswell had that idea about like, if you want to make something happen, your true wish, right, ever come true, right? If you hold someone dear and you want for them the best possible future, then the only thing you can do is focus only on that person and sacrifice everybody and everything else, even yourself, right? And that is the decision that Subaru rejected, much like he rejected Echidna's deal with like going through return by death as long as it takes to actually make a future happen with her assistance. Just as much he rejected the ideal of Roswell, which was like become a mad person devoid of humanity, and went in the opposite direction, which is I have empathy for everybody and I do at least want to try my absolute very best to save everybody out there. Which, yeah, and now Al actually put that back into the room again. He was like, focus on Amelia, right? Don't focus on everybody else. Don't shoulder that, because as soon as you shoulder that, the entire, like, the weight on the world is on your shoulders. And a normal person like you and me, he says that to Garfield, like, wouldn't be able to actually do that. I find it very interesting that Al considers himself, like, I wouldn't say Al is selfish, right? I wouldn't say, like, but in any, like, in a lot of the scenes that we've seen him in, he has actually been always deciding to help his princess or himself, right? Or to just stay on the side of, I'm going to focus on that one thing, which he said in this very scene, like, right? I'm going to focus on my princess and saving her. As opposed to, like, being more like Subaru standing up to be the hero. I also like how Subaru is just like usual then, right? I've decided on this path a long time ago, even like subconsciously in season 1 already. And now he's just reinforcing this, right? And the more he spins this tale of his heroism is trying to make it happen and sacrifices things for it. Yes, it's going to be painful. It's going to be like difficult and whatnot. But at the same time, he is kind of growing with it, right? And his reputation is as well. And so is the trust the people put into him. And they're right? Subaru is the only one who has the reputation, as we set up earlier with Liliana actually recounting his stories a little bit, the reputation to pull this off at this moment in time with Reinhardt not available. Right. I'm sorry for stopping this, but am I getting sick or something? What the fuck is happening? Continue.
一回も諦めてなんてない。もう無理です。もう一度立てたんなら、これでは何も変わらない時間があなたが戻らないまま旦那様の怒りに飲まれてしまえばよかった。これでは何も変わらない時間が続くだけで。だったら
She wanted death, I was right.
また頑張りましょう。私まだ一回も諦めてなんてない。
She and her hopeless optimism. Sometimes it's easier to tell yourself it's impossible, right?
あなたが諦めないと、そうおっしゃるのはご自由にしてください。ですが、もう私の魔が差すことはありません。
Not again.
たちも同じでしょう。そんな。私は小さな村で暮らすただの娘でした。そんな私をめとるために、旦那様は父も母も、兄弟も隣人も、私の顔と名前を知るだけの村の人も。一人残らず根絶やしにした。
So you had nothing anymore.
彼の妻は全員同じ境遇です。
And as we despair. As always, man, Subaru.
まずは最初に驚かせてごめん。今度は何言われんだって不安になった人が大勢いたと思うけど、安心してくれ。今この放送してる俺は魔女教の人間じゃない。
Should be huge relief.
じゃあ助かったのか。
あいつら追い出してくれたの？
期待させて悪いんだが、魔女教の脅威はまだ去ってない。
Oof.
制御塔は奴らの手に落ちたまんまだ。都市が水没する危険も、奴らの要求もまだ生きてる。それも伝えておく。ごめんな。今、
But
みんなはこの放送をどこで聞いてる？避難所にいる人たちや、ひょっとすると避難所に逃げ込めない人たちもいると思う。みんな不安でいっぱいなはずだ。だってのに、わざわざ変にみんなの期待を煽るような真似をして、俺を何ともなる人もいるはずだ。
holy shit. Ricardo in front of the building, holy. Okay.
みんなと同じ状況に振り回されて理不尽に押しつぶされそうでビビって足が震えてる。そんなやつだ。
Don't talk down to them.
俺には2が勝ちすぎてるって思ってるよ。
Hmm.
本当ならもっとこうしてみんなに話しかけるのにふさわしい人は他にいるんだ。きっとそうだ。だけど今こうして俺が話してる。俺なんかよりよっぽどすごい人たちが俺がやるべきだってそう言ってくれてる。そうすることに意味があるんだって。俺の声震えてないか？人前に立つなんて俺のキャラじゃないんだよ。立派なことも
You need to get used to that.
引っ張ってくカリスマだって俺にはない。弱くてどうしようもなくて。
You're underestimating yourself.
今だって逃げたくてしょうがなくて何ができるかなんてわからなくて耳を塞いで頭を抱えて自分がうずくまってる間に全部解決してくれればなんて他力本願を願って。
We need that butt. We need that butt.
それでも逃げられないから戦う。俺はそれだけのやつだ。
Okay.
もう一度聞かせてくれ。この声を聞いてる人は今どこにいる？避難所に逃げ込めてるか？自分の家に隠れてるのか？一人で震えてたりしないか？誰かと一緒にいられてるか？一緒にいるのは大切な人か？知らない顔でもこの数時間で見知った顔になったか？
Connections.
勝手な話だし難しいかもしれないけどお願いだから一人にならないでくれ。
Join together.
考えばっかり浮かんでくるんだ。わかるよ。
Yeah.
一人にならないでくれ。誰かと一緒にいてくれ。そしてできるなら一緒にいる誰かの顔を見てくれ。
Holy shit.
今誰の顔を見た？大切な人か？それともこの数時間を一緒に過ごした知らない相手か？
Emilia's loving this. She's like,
泣き顔だったり辛そうだったり笑ってる顔はないと思う。それが許せるかよ。やだよ。俺は許せない。許したくない。俺にも大切な人がいる。大事な仲間がいる。俺はその大切な人
bring it up.
辛い顔や悲しい顔をさせてる奴らが許せない。ふざけんじゃねえ。バカにすんなよ。俺の知ってるこの子の笑顔は本当はもっと可愛いんだぜって言ってやりてえ。負けっぱなしじゃいい。
Subaru's idiosyncrasies.
格好がつかねえ。やられっぱなしでいいわけがねえ。間違ってるのはあいつらだ。間違ってる奴らに負けるなんて我慢ならねえ。あんな奴らに負けを認めるなんて俺はしたくない。だから戦う。弱いのも頭が悪いのも全部分かってるけど戦ってやる。あいつらが間違ってる。俺の好きな人たちに泣きそうな顔をさせるあいつらが間違ってる。だから戦う。俺は戦う。みんなにも戦ってほしい。勘違いしないでくれ。
Fight with me.
何も棒で殴りかかるって話じゃない。 俺がみんなに
Stick together.
下を向かないでほしいってことなんだ。
Cheer each other up.
下を向かない。
Be there for one another.
変わらねえよ。だから顔を
You just won't see the road ahead, will you?
周り見
Lift your heads.
きっと誰かと目が合う。それは同じ不安を抱えてる誰かだけど同じ負けたくないって気持ちを抱えた誰かでもある。信じさせてくれよ。弱くてどうしようもない俺がまだ諦められねえんだ。
Ooh, this parallels some of the lines we've heard before, right?
じゃないってそう それとも
Am I not the only hopeless fool in here?
違う。そんなことないよ。
まだやれるって、まだ戦えるってそう思ってるのは俺だけなのか。違う。そうだ、違うぞ。
大丈夫。
And with the authority, right?
頑張れるから。
違うよな。
違う。絶対の絶対に心の底から全然違うから。
まだみんなも戦ってるよな。弱さに飲まれ
Oh, this is beautiful shot.
あなたの声が聞こえるから大丈夫。何にも怖くないわ。
Free as a bird. Open the window. Holy shit. Yes, yes, yes.
その手を握って信じてくれ。隣り合うのが知らない誰かなら一緒に頑張ろうってうなずきかけてくれ。自分もその人も負けも折れもしないで戦えるんだって。みんなが折れずにいてくれるなら
And the sun.
もう諦めないで戦う。戦って勝ってみせる。俺の名前は夏木スバル。魔女教滞在式の平を倒した精霊使いだ。
Put weight behind it.
俺と仲間たちがどうにかする。だからみんな信じて戦ってくれ。大切な
Resist.
手を握って負けそうになる弱い心をぶっ飛ばしてくれ。そしたら
We're gonna believe.
全部この俺に任せておけ。
Put your hope in me.
今の声は私の騎士様。すごく頑張り屋さんなの。私逃げないわ。あなたたちを置いてどこかに行ったりしない。どうして怖い気持ちでいっぱいだったはずなのに、それでも
Empathy.
私を助けようとしてくれた。あなたにも他の子たちにも幸せになってもらいたい。結婚って大切な人と一緒に幸せになるための儀式だもの。花嫁さんは幸せでなきゃダメなの。付き合ってるのに結婚できなかった人たちを
Thinking back
知ってる。
on her
今もまだ
de facto parents.
胸が痛む。結婚しているのに幸せになれないなんて、そんな関係私は嫌だわ。考えはご立派ですが、何かするならあなたを一人で。私一人で。そうじゃない。私ずっと一人じゃなかった。
Never ever.
危ない。勘違いしちゃうところだった。どうされるつもりですか？結婚式をしましょう。
She has a plan. I'm pretty sure she has a plan. Bro's like, never been this nervous in my life.
ごめんなさい。次はもっとうまくやります。
なんで謝る？変な子やね。
素晴らしい演説だった。
You dragged it on a tiny bit in the beginning.
恐れ入ったわ。ジョーちゃんらに幼女に知流までたぶらかした面目役女やないか。
夏希くんは天性の先導者やね。
たぶらかしてねえし。
Natural agitator.
いいよ。少しは町の人たちを励ませたかな。
Al's non-reaction is perfect.
原因そのものの排除やね。
ああ、そのためには制御塔の4箇所同時攻略か。
それなら鬼札が1枚加わるのはいかがですか？
Holy shit, Honor's back! Right at perfect moment. He's like,
どうにかこうにか
here I am again.
それとお連れしました。
Ooh, Reinhardt, holy shit.
お連れした？
This is a game changer. This is a game changer, of course. Everybody's like, hell yeah, we might have won.
すまない。ラインハルト・バン・アストレア。遅ればせながら合流する。
The news of heroes and the most I didn't peek that in a second. Holy shit. Let's talk about it for a second. I think I'm gonna go into episode 8 very shortly. But of course we would be amiss if we wouldn't talk about it for a second or two. Just throw throw ourselves in. Most of this has been a speech, right? So we talked a little bit about the Al-Amelia interaction. I find it very, very interesting, right? How we are... A lot of beautiful shots too, right? Us peeking through the window like we're eavesdropping on a secret conversation. I'll apologize to Priscilla and myself later for being so selfish, right? For him actually delivering the message before he takes care of Priscilla, right? Which is very interesting. Al actually looking up. Al tells Subaru and his buddies what you said. Sure, the prince and the white horse will take care of the rest. A little bit of a goofy interaction, right? But he's like, yeah, the entire energy between the two of them. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how much Al is somebody who's very hard to read, but also very easy to sympathize with, I feel. Like he's a person who you very, very easily get along with, who you don't suspect to be evil or bad or mischievous or in some way. He has clear goals and he states them and he's, right? But he's also kind of like a stoic character, right? He doesn't talk a lot. And when he talks, you should be listening very well what he's saying because he knows how to talk at the very least. He's just not like, I do almost feel like he would be Subaru if he was like, if he took a different path, right? Like if you want to like parallel, like for example, Subaru wanting to be or being okay with being more in the spotlight, taking on more burdens of all the people around him rather than just one person. Subaru actually maybe not being as cool-headed and all that and being a little bit more quirky. On the other side, Al, we do have the stoic character who is seemingly in control in most of the moments, who is very capable, who can fight very well, but at the same time, he does not want to take the burdens and hopes of the world onto himself, right? He'll help, he'll join in, he's like lending you a hand, he's assisting you, he's helping you, but he's not the person who's like gonna be, I'm gonna be your hero, right? Not even with Priscilla, I feel, right? Because like he's like her knight, but he's not her hero in that way. And for Subaru Emilia, it's different, right? Like obviously for Subaru, Emilia is the heroine, and for Emilia, Subaru is the hero, basically. So it's a different kind of dynamic going on. But at the same time, it's very interesting how Al interacts with the rest of us and how he goes in there. We delivered a message, not a lot to say, other than some really emotional moments. Garfield thinking everybody is dead. This is just fucking hilarious. Him just being like a little kid or something. The little blushes on the eyes and whatnot, and him looking down at the leg, making a obscure reference and being like, "Don't worry, I'll fill you in later. Just chill out," right? We go back and forth between him and Emilia, and I think that's important when it comes to like the later part of the episode where we go into the speech and do see how it affects Emilia, because Emilia is kind of being pushed down, not entirely, right? She's pushing back very well with her optimism, right? And with her hopefulness and her unshaking spirit, but she's being pushed down a lot by these wives who are in despair, right? Who have gotten to the point that they have learned helplessness, right? They have gotten to the stage, and you do see that very well in the directing. Emilia still being mostly in the light, right? The light coming in from the window while she is almost completely in the dark, especially her face up there, right? The light is touching her, but it's not like enveloping her features. And as a result of that, they have been beaten down again and again. They've experienced loss at the hands of their abuser, right? And have decided to not fight back anymore and are kind of desiring the sweet relief of death, which is what she was saying, right? I had hoped that I could meet these last moments of Regulus basically killing me in defiance and be happy when the moment I died, because I resisted in that moment. But that kind of betrays one thought, one feeling that she still has deep inside her, which is she has the desire to actually stand up against Regulus. But because she thinks that it's not going to be effective no matter what she does, the problem exists, right? That she has to exist here and follow orders until she can get it arranged that she's actually dying. And she does have to do that in a clever way, because Regulus would probably not just kill her when she's purposefully trying to get herself killed, because then Regulus would be like, okay, you know what? It would be more of a punishment for you if I did that or that, right? Like rather than having her killed right away. But when he loses his temper, that is a chance for her to actually get into the line of fire. Interesting how we switch from her, like, I thought I'd mustered up courage in my last moments, but it meant nothing, right? You destroyed that. And then we change over into this broken window, right? There's like some kind of beauty to it, but a lot of like the peak of it is very sharp, right? Glinting. And then we go into the room with the media and we explain everything, like the plans we have, like it's a powder keg, the entire city, right? The people, being other people makes that worry grow, being with other people makes that worry grow even bigger, right? Like we have that. People are starting to argue, they're starting to get frustrated, all of these negative emotions, and negative emotions are generally very well associated with fear, they're associated with aggression, right? Aggression as a means of defending yourself. That is what you see a lot in, like, if you've ever seen Good Will Hunting, for example, there's a very good example for somebody who keeps pushing people away with aggression, with like nasty and mean things, because they don't want to experience the pain of actually losing them, of them running away or leaving them, right? So there's this emotional vulnerability, and the more you're emotionally vulnerable, the more maybe, right? This is one of the ways to go. This is definitely not what everybody does, but a lot of people would be pushing other people away in order to not get close enough to them to actually, right, to actually get hurt. Or if you perceive somebody else as opposed to you in terms of like what they think about the world or what intentions they have, then obviously there's going to be aggression as well. There's all this energy inside of you that's like frustration and powerlessness, and some people move over to actually being mean to other people or hurting them in order to regain some sense of power in their lives, right? That is at least one of the theories when it comes to this particular kind of like, why do people hurt other people for no apparent reason, right? And then we have to dig deeper and see maybe there's like an underlying reason. You do feel like you're powerless in your life, but you see a person who you could possibly gain some power over by putting them down, right? By hurting them emotionally, by hurting them physically, something like that. But yeah, we talk back and forth. We need to reawaken the hope in people. Right, and Anastasia is like, I'm a merchant, right? I haven't beaten anybody of the witch cult, right? I've got prowess, right? And I'm like somewhat of a leader when it comes to like my skill and whatnot. I have that reputation. Julius has the reputation as a knight, but that's like a minor thing. That's like as if the official city guard captain was like, all right, it's gonna be fine, right? I mean, yeah, it's okay, and people might be kind of encouraged for a second or two, but how can they relate to this person, the city guard person who, like, the city is in shambles, right? You don't even know how large the guard forces are and whatnot. Right. We had the conversation with Al, and I do really love that, how we're going like into the details of like the interaction with Al and Subaru and how we're contrasting them from one another. And everybody's gonna put it on Subaru. The question is, does Subaru want to do it, right? Obviously, Garfield looks up to Subaru. Julius has learned to grown to respect Subaru and how he developed. Anastasia, as an extension of like Julius getting more and more of a good impression of Subaru, obviously had the same impression then, or a similar one. The only ones here who've managed that, beating the witch cult, the master swordsman Reinhardt and Subarunatsky. In other words, there's only you, right? You're the only real choice. And he's like musing, and I love that we're flashing back and we have these memories of like how Subaru used to be, because Subaru was very boastful and set on justice, right? And then just calling everybody out for their shit, even if in some cases he wasn't even right, in terms of like Julius is like, I bet you have just inherited this name from your father and whatnot, and Julius is actually a very hardworking dude. But even beyond that, it's just like, you've seen like, back then he didn't have anything to back that up, but then he went through that arc of development in season 1, which was amazing. where he learned how the world works and how he gets things that he like. We had something like themes like these before, right? You need to give people something in order to gain something, right? You need to show people that you're actually willing to compromise with them and give them something that they need and that they desire. And once you've kind of established a rapport with them, then you can interact with them and ask for favors, even if you maybe don't necessarily have anything to trade it for, because at that point in time you do have the trust of people. And this is what kind of Subaru's reputation is at this point, right? He has the trust of people. He's there when it comes to actually having beaten a witch cultist, like an archbishop. Nobody has done that before, at least seemingly, right? Obviously the witches were defeated, but most of them, according to legend, by Satella. There's no like, right? The sword saint and like the sage and the dragon did seal away Satella, but that's something else, right? Like, I mean, I guess, right, sword saint, that would be like, I think Reinhardt and his family are kind of connected to that, right? And the dragon, obviously, the kingdom of Lagunica and the royalty within the kingdom of Lagunica are connected to that as well. Although we have to mention that the royal family has died out, right, due to like some kind of illness and whatever, under mysterious circumstances and whatever. But yeah, Subaru is the man to go here, and we'll soon see why. And Alice kind of like just, okay, get on with your decision. I know you're gonna make the decision, so I'm actually gonna pull some strings, right? I'm gonna drop like the reverse psychology angle where I'm like, okay, yeah, why would Subaru have to do this? And then like Garfield's going in like, I'll beat you up, shut the fuck up, right? He's worthy of that. And then he's speaking directly to Subaru. It's like, everything I do is for my princess. That's why I'm happy to put off everyone else. Right? He's like, this is my goal. You should do the same. Just focus on saving the little lady. Those witch cult guys are just passing evildoers. Nothing good can come of getting involved with them. Right? He's like, just focus on protecting yourself and your camp, right? And your people, and not everybody else around. And this is just getting him to the conclusion he was gonna get at eventually anyway. And he's like, I'm just that kind of guy. Like, I think like, it doesn't matter who it is. If there's an innocent person who is in the way of harm, I will try to save them, even at the expense of my own life, right? He's like, you're gonna be. I love these angles too, right? Like the tilted angle that we see that from with Al's shoulder out of focus in the frame. If you make this decision now, that's how it's gonna have to be. But isn't losing always unacceptable? It's like, it's different. If everybody if your losses won't be your own anymore, it will be the loss of everybody, because everybody's relying on you. And he's thinking back, he's like, how was it back then, right? Did I just focus on Emilia? No, I started with Emilia. Then it was Rem and Ram, right? I think Rem died, right? Again, Rem, right? Here it was everybody, like Arlem Village and like Rem as well, right? Emilia again, right? They were like the main focus, but we extended beyond that. He decided upon this path, and then it was Satella. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna save you, I promise you. And then it's like Beako, where he was like, I'm in here with you, right? He extended and extended and extended, and every time somebody was calling for help, and he was the one who was actually in the vicinity to help, even if he was necessarily didn't see a path where he was capable of doing that yet, he stepped up and tried to do it anyway and found a way eventually. It's like, that's just the usual. Cheer up, I'm gonna do it. The hero, right? And it's very funny because this is his fantasy, right? Like, even if you go back to all the way when he was in his original world, this was his fantasy, becoming a hero. But I think, like, all the way back there up until now, we did have this, what does it mean to be a hero, right? What does it take out of you to be a hero, right? What is the burden of that? And he's been struggling with that from the beginning on, right? We had traumatizing moments, right? Gut-wrenching moments of himself being hurt beyond belief, dying, right? People he held dear, he loved from the depths of his heart, dying. And every time there was the struggle of, when do I give up, right? How do I, right? Because at some point you can't take it anymore. You're like, what more do I have to give to become this hero I want to become. And obviously it wasn't meant, like, it wasn't done in the sense of like, I want to become a hero most of the time. It was done in the sense of, I just want to save that person that's in front of me here. And that's what's always driven him, this like instinct, this like part of his character almost, that this is an ideal that he holds and that he doesn't consciously hold, he subconsciously holds it as well. And is just trying to help people and save people and all of that. But we didn't, up until now, right? Now he has the realization, he's like, looking back on all the things I've did, I've already started to follow this ideal all the way back. Should I turn 180 now, at this point in time, and just say I can't shoulder those burdens? Right? He's in too deep. He's got sunk cost fallacy, and with a lot of reward too, right? He saved a lot of people, he made a name for himself, he gained so many good friends, right, that he trusts from the bottom of his heart. So all that he did until now, if you go beyond the pain, has confirmed that this path is a possible path to war. And all of like the pain that is in the past kind of reinforces the fact that if it's not more than what I've already went through, why shouldn't I take this next step, right? Why shouldn't I put the burden onto myself? I've done it before, I've done it in the past, right? And this just is a moment for Subaru that reconfirms who he is. It's not a moment of character development where he becomes something that he wasn't before. It's something that's just a reconfirmation of who he has become over the course of this entire series. And he realizes that in this moment, which I absolutely love. Thanks, Al, we're gonna do that. And we do shortly go into that. I wish it's never been this way, right? My entire family was killed just so I have no other person that I can rely on, right? Like, or, right? Except for my future abuser, basically, right? It's just this desperate hopelessness, and it almost gets her, right? The moment she lowers her head, suddenly it's like, surprise, I'm gonna look out the window into freedom, basically, and I hear Subaru's voice, who is like quirky and goofy as always, just being like, mic test, hello. But he starts out like that. And very interesting how he's just starting to babble, and kind of very relatable, right? When I started out this reaction stuff, I started to babble. That's what I did. I just was talking a little bit. Oftentimes it was awkward in the beginning. It was like kind of weird, right? The phrases felt hollow sometimes. It felt like I'm making an ass of myself. But the more I'm actually talking in front of the camera, the easier it gets. And I feel like this is exactly what's happening on a smaller scale in Subaru's case, that the more he talks in front of like the mic, the more he's just getting into tune with himself and what he wants to actually say. This is like a natural development of dialogue, starting with like a stumbling, weird, right? But that makes him endearing that makes him relatable for everybody else, because if he just went in there and had like a prepared speech or whatever, I don't think it would have the same impact. We are starting with a Subaru that is not confident in himself, a Subaru that is like, I'm just like all of you, right? I'm scared. I'm like, I don't really want to do this, right? I wish I could just leave everything to everybody else. I wish that, right, that I'm not something special. I don't have any special power that I can like fight everybody of the witch cult and whatnot, right? I'm scared. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. All I want to do is run away. I wish I could plug my ears, cover my head, right? All of this. And just keep cowering like someone else, let someone else fix all of this. That's really all there is to me. But, and I love how the moment he's like bringing in the but, there's like the transition, the instant transition to Amelia looking out the window onto the sky, smiling, because she expected that. She didn't expect Subaru to be like, I don't know what to do, damn it. She expected him to come in and be like, look, here's the deal. And now he's wrapping it up again. He's like, tell me one more time, where the hell are you, right? What are you doing? Are the people that are with you the ones that are most important with you? Are you not alone? That is important. Even if they're strangers, have you gotten to know them in the past few hours? Have you made bonds? When you're alone, your head just fills with senseless thoughts, and we've seen that time and time again. I've reacted to Bocce, right, the enemy, when it comes to anxiety and overthinking stuff and just getting into your head too much. if you're alone and you're in a desperate situation, it is very easy to just conjure up worst case scenario after worst case scenario and get in there and be just very hopeless, right? Because there's no options. There's no strength coming from everywhere else but yourself. And if you yourself are downtrodden and already beaten down, then the spiral is continuing to get down, right? Because what if then the fear comes in, right? What if this happens? What if that happens? All of these things that are kind of just the friction that is happening here, and you're like, I can't take that, I'm overwhelmed. But if you are together with somebody else, even the normal touch of a hand, he says later, he's like, take their hand, right? Look into their eyes, right? Connect with them on a physical level, connect with them on a mental level, on an emotional level. Give each other strength. And he says that too. He's like, I'm gonna turn that around. I doubt anybody is smiling, right? He's empathizing with them. That's what makes this so powerful, because he's starting saying like, I'm just a bumbling fool, right? And I'm like everybody else, right? I'm having the same emotions right now, and nothing is fixed yet. I'm sorry about that. But we are all in this together. Tell me, please tell me, right? Me, this not yet named, because he's not naming himself immediately. He's like, right, I'm one of you guys. Please tell me that I'm not the only one of all of us who is fool enough to believe that we can still turn this around, right? That if we work together and if we hold together, right? If we keep each other up and keep each other optimistic and just, if we just join our arms together, all of us, that this can't be fixed. Because I believe in that. And I do, like, I really, some of the dialogue that we felt like, it's resonating, because he's like, I believe, right? And we did have these I think, like, what I thought about when I heard like him bringing like the word believe in that is like believe in you, which is one of the EDs, which is Amelia centered, right? It's like, I can't stand for these people who are hurting my friends and the people I hold dear. I have people I care about, right? And he's rising their emotions. He's like, love and connection and wanting to protect the people that you hold dear, right? Those are positive emotions. Even though they come from a place of trying to avert danger and negative things, they are passionate, they are fiery, they build you up, they don't break you down. Because hope is not lost, and hope is this shimmer that's coming in. And I love how, like, the entire, like, look at the sky, the sun is shining in. And even in these dark places that we have here, which is like all of the shelters that are like very, very dark and blue light and whatnot, they feel like very mellow, very down. We are lifting that spirit. Of course, for Amelia, it's different. Amelia's going out the window, and I don't know when we actually have that scene. I think it's very close to here, but I don't know where exactly. She hasn't opened it here yet, so I'm very curious where we're actually going into that scene. Yeah. And she smiles over to her. She's like, I don't even need to say anything. This is like literally what I would be saying, right? Looking over at her and being like, believe, right? I'm trying to help you all. I can't forgive anyone who makes the people I care about look sad or miserable. To hell with that. Don't take me for a fool. I want to tell them that the girl looks so much cuter. That's the funny thing. Like, Subaru still finds a way to build in his own like weird little quirky idiosyncrasies, like, which are like, okay, dude, you could have just left that sentence out. But it's him being him, right? The more the speech goes on, it's more and more him being him, and that is authentic, right? That brings across this idea of, yeah, I'm a real person. I'm not just reading off a script. I'm just, right? I might be weird and quirky in some ways, but I am a real person. Look at fucking Priscilla being like smiling and all of that. This speech also has an effect on her. Felt out there, Anastasia, even like Felix looking, and we have Krush opening her eye. I think it's Krush, right? Yeah. I'm going to fight. I'm not saying go around hitting everybody. I want all you to stop gazing down. And I said that in the reaction. I said, if you're just looking at your feet, and that's a Monogatari thing, by the way, like, I'm not claiming credit for that, but if all you do is look at your feet, you won't see the road ahead, right? You won't see the danger coming. You won't see the positives. You won't see the things that can help you, right? The rays of hope The sun is up in the sky, it's not down on the ground. Lift your heads and look forward. If you look around, you should make eye contact. Everybody is the same as you, right? They're anxious, but they have that glint, right? I love that with the eyes changing and her smiling. They have that glint of hope in their heart. Make me believe. I'm weak and useless, but I don't want to give up yet, right? Right? And then he's including all of them. He's like, or am I the only one? He's asking the question. You know he's not gonna get an answer directly, but everybody here, like, he's pinging them. Everybody here feels prompted. They're like, no, that's not true. You're not the only one. Emilia doesn't even answer, obviously, because she knows it's a speech, but she's like, I can still keep trying. Absolutely know from the bottom of my heart that you're not. You're not letting weakness take over, right? Yeah? You're not gonna go down without a fight, are you? Mentally, emotionally. Right? And everybody goes in. And I love that. I love that directorial choice. That Emilia goes to the window and she opens it up. And we had that symbolism in the last, like, 2 episodes or so, where Emilia was behind the window and looking outside, right? The bars right in front, cornering her in, right? The bird caged, basically. We open the window, we let in the golden hour sunlight, right? The warm feeling, fuzzy feeling sunlight. That is the light of hope. And to just hammer it in, we let the birds, right? The doves fly past, which is a symbol for freedom in a way, right? Birds out there, freedom. Love this shot too, when we look from like the sky, right? From the directly down and a flat surface onto the room, and the birds are flying by. Believe that both you and they will fight without losing or giving in. You all stay with me. I can keep fighting and never give up. I'll fight and I'll win. And he's talking himself into a frenzy, and now he drops the name. Masterfully done. Now he drops the name. Not before he, right, to lend the authority to himself, but he wants to get them all hopeful and up there, and right, and like fighting and standing and being there for one another and feeling all of these warm feelings. And then he's like, by the way, I'm the guy who already beat one of the witch cult. Right, to just reinforce what he already did, not just to establish it, but to reinforce it. My buddies and I will take care of the witch cult. And everybody's standing there, they're like smiling with hope in their heart, the light in everybody's eyes. You can leave everything to me. And obviously, interestingly enough, I do feel like this is a thing where it's like, yeah, hope and whatnot, but that hope up there, it's like glistening. It's almost like the sun is burning him. So he's getting very close to the sun, basically, flying very close to the sun. And if he doesn't take care of himself, if he doesn't watch out, his wings might just burn. But if he manages to strike that balance, get his friends around him, right? Be clever about it, then he will fly high and he will remain there, right? And that's the symbolism, I guess, right? And the two of them looking. I love how we're involving, like, especially the children, because, like, oftentimes the way children react is in many ways reflecting what the adults are feeling as well. But the adults hide it, right? The adults hide it very well. The adults also sometimes don't realize it themselves. Children are very, very in tune with the atmosphere, the general atmosphere of a room, of a location, right? So using them, which are children, and also children that we already have gotten to know in earlier episodes, to kind of represent what an effect that has on everybody. And I think also children, like, when they stand up, right, they will be the first to stand up and be moved by this, even if the adults are not immediately moved and are still kind of a little bit doubtful, right, and like a little bit hesitant. And then the children come in and they're like, we're with you, right, we're not giving up, right? And then the adults look back to the children and they're like, you're right, right? Like, on the one hand, yeah, you're right, and on the other hand, if the children haven't lost hope, we sure as hell shouldn't lose hope either, right? There's this, right, you know, right, like we had in season 1, where it's like, look at Natsuki Subaru, he's the weakest of our entire army, which, like, was the speech that Crush did, and there she was like, and he's still standing, he's still fighting, he still believes that this is gonna happen. Do you all want to cower in fear when this guy here, right, weak and like powerless, is still fighting for his life? No. And this is like a similar effect, I feel. And then Emilia reaching out the hand. It's like her idea of marriage. Look at Emilia bringing in these ideas of, these modern ideas of marriage into this kind of, not medieval, but maybe like a pre-steampunk world, I would say, right? We're like a little bit pre the steampunk age in terms of like the setting, I would say. This is already steampunky, right? The medias and whatnot. But we're not quite there, right? We're not quite in the Industrial Revolution, so to speak. But everybody's like super impressed by that. You make a little bit of a joke here and there, but... And Otto comes in, he's like, did somebody say my name? Did somebody want a wild card? Otto's always the wild card. He's coming in and he's like, I might have what you need, right? In here. Listen to me. And it's great, right? Because he is like... He's such an underappreciated character from like a world perspective. Nobody really, like, people take him seriously, yes, but he's not valued as high as he actually is in the grand scheme of things. And he's bringing somebody with him who might turn the tide of battle. Reinhardt's like, I am here. Basically, right? Basically, this universe is All Might. The newest of heroes and the most ancient of heroes. Wow. Okay. Right, we have the newest of heroes with obviously Subaru. And the most ancient of heroes. Interesting. I mean, I assume it's probably Reinhardt since it's the red color that it's being displayed in here. But yeah, really cool. Cool episode. We're gonna go into the next one soon-ish. My camera battery seems to be running a little bit hot. That's a good way to kind of just interrupt it, and we're gonna watch episode 8 right away, I would say. Either you get it in 2 parts, like we're just one after another, right? So go watch episode 8 right now, or it's gonna be in the same bit. It's probably gonna be 2 videos, just for convenience's sake. Yeah, see you next time. Thanks to all my patrons.